Today, we're diving into a story that starts with a family's unimaginable grief and ends with the unraveling of a huge, sophisticated criminal network. We're going to Madanapalli, India, where one woman's tragic death blew the lid off a massive organ trafficking racket, a crime that really begins with one devastating quote. "The guilt is killing me every second. Just let that sink in." These are the heartbreaking words of Nagendra, a brother just consumed by grief after losing his sister. This one sentence, man, it just captures the devastating human cost of the crime we're about to unpack. It's a story about a family completely blindsided by a tragedy they never, ever saw coming. So, how did this all even happen? Well, it started the way these horrible stories so often do, with a promise. A promise of a brand new life that, in reality, led to the most tragic end you can imagine. So let's talk about Yamuna. She was just 29 years old, a mother, separated from her husband, working hard at a grocery shop to take care of her two kids and her parents. And her biggest dream? It was really simple. She just wanted to give her kids a better future, maybe get them into a good school. And it was that powerful, totally relatable dream that these traffickers found and twisted into a weapon to use against her. The deception here was just brutal. I mean, look at this. On one side, you have the fantasy they sold to Yamuna, a huge payment of nearly $10,000, a procedure that was absolutely safe, and this incredible chance at a new life. And then, on the other side, you see the grim reality, an illegal, dangerous surgery, a hospital cover-up, and a family just shattered by grief. This contrast right here, this is the cruel playbook these criminals rely on. The criminals, they had their cover story all ready to go, but it started to unravel, and it unraveled fast. It was actually the family's own suspicion that became the first thread they pulled, and it exposed the entire conspiracy. Okay, so let's walk through how the truth actually came out. Yamuna tells her family she's off on a trip. Then, on November 11th, her brother gets this cryptic, absolutely horrifying phone call. The family, they don't hesitate. They call the police immediately. And while the family is still driving to the hospital, police are already there, starting to investigate. But the real turning point, the smoking gun, was the autopsy. It provided undeniable proof. A kidney had been illegally taken, which completely blew the hospital's story about surgical complications out of the water. So you see, this wasn't just the work of a few rogue individuals. Not even close. Yamuna's death revealed a highly organized, almost corporate-like syndicate, and it had key players both inside and outside the official medical system. This table really breaks down the whole network. At the very top, you have the alleged mastermind, the hospital owner, who is also, get this, a government doctor. They brought in a specialist surgeon from another city. He's now on the run. And it goes deeper. Even technicians from public, government-run hospitals were in on it. This just shows you how deep the corruption ran. It completely blurred the lines between private and public healthcare, creating this sophisticated criminal machine. And this racket operated using a cold, calculated playbook. Step 1, find someone in desperate financial trouble, like Yamuna. Step 2, sell them an impossible dream. Step 3, forge fake documents to completely erase their real identity. Step 4 is the illegal surgery itself. And then Step 5, which is maybe the most cynical part, have a cover-up story ready to go. Blame it on complications, and then pressure the family to just stay quiet. Yamuna's story is, of course, a personal tragedy. But it's also a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. You see, these criminal networks, they don't just exist in a vacuum. They thrive by exploiting systemic poverty. 5%. Just think about that number. According to investigators, this is how little of the total money exchanged actually goes to the victims. You know, the people who are risking their lives. It's a tiny, tiny fraction of the massive profits being made off their bodies. I mean, the financial gap here is just staggering. A donor like Yamuna might be promised a few lakh rupees, which to them is a life-changing amount of money, but the person receiving the organ could be paying up to 85 lakh rupees, or even more. That's over 20 times the amount. That huge gap in the middle, that's pure profit for the criminal syndicate, the brokers, the doctors, and the hospital. And here's the thing, this isn't a new problem for this region at all. Visakhapatnam has been a hotspot for this stuff for years. Back in 2022, a man was promised a big payment but was cheated out of most of it. In 2019, a completely different hospital was shut down for the exact same crime. And the targets? They are consistently the same. People trapped in cycles of debt, whose desperate situations make them incredibly vulnerable to these kinds of false promises. Yamuna's death blew this whole conspiracy wide open. So now, the hunt for justice is on, and it has triggered a massive, multi-state investigation to try and bring every single person involved to account. Yeah, this is no longer just a local case. Police teams are now chasing leads across state lines. They're searching for that surgeon from Bengaluru and tracing the network's tentacles to places like Goa, which is where Yamuna's kidney was allegedly headed. The goal here is to dismantle this entire operation, from the recruiters on the ground all the way to the surgeons in the operating room. And that really brings us to the final chilling question, doesn't it? Yamuna's tragic death brought one dangerous network into the light, but it forces all of us to ask, how many more are still out there, operating in the shadows, preying on the most vulnerable people in our society? The fight to answer that question and to get justice for all the victims is far from over.